As a beginner developer, building projects is critical for applying what you've learned and showcasing your abilities. So for that reason, today we'll cover 3 essential projects that all beginners should build that will not only improve their skills, but you'll also make them 10 times more attractive for recruiters and potential employers. Each of these projects serves a unique purpose in your developer journey, and in this video, I will break them down one by one, giving the reason why you should build each and every one of these projects. And the reason why I'm not only listing this project but also explaining why you should build them is because I really think that we will be better off doing things and more interested in doing those things if we know their importance. So basically, know why it's important to do what you have to do. So I'll do my best to make sure that you understand why each of these projects are equally important to have in your portfolio, and also give you tips to help you build these projects by yourself. So the first project being your personal portfolio. Your personal portfolio is basically your online resume. It is the first impression potential employers or even clients will have of you. So you should really take time to build your portfolio very well. If someone ever asks you whether or not you can build apps or websites, instead of getting tired trying to explain your experience, telling how you are the best developer ever, all you need to do is just to send them over to your portfolio for them to see, and they'll be able to have a true understanding of the true extent of your capabilities. So this way, instead of spending time and energy explaining, your portfolio is just going to do the explaining for you, and they will not need to ask you any more questions. This will be way more convincing than any words you will ever utter from your mouth. So a well-crafted portfolio will basically showcase your skills, projects, and eventually even your personality, because all of these things are included in a well-designed and built portfolio. So building this portfolio project will make you learn, firstly, HTML and CSS to structure and style your website. Then obviously JavaScript to add interactivity and dynamic content onto your portfolio. And then you also learn responsive design, which will ensure that this portfolio looks great across all devices. And finally, obviously version control using Git and GitHub to manage your code. So let me tell you what a good personal portfolio should include. So a good personal portfolio should include these key features. Firstly, an about me section where you basically share your background, talk more about you, talk about your interests, and talk about the general skills you have, whether it's related to development or not. Next, you have a project showcase area where you basically highlight your best work with descriptions and links. And make sure to share only the relevant project. Don't share every single project you've ever worked on in your lifespan. Just make sure to show your best work, because that is what is actually the most interesting and what will speak volumes about your skills. And finally, you want to have a contact information or a contact section in your portfolio, so it can be easy for people to reach out to you if they like your portfolio or if they like what you do. Optionally, you can also share a blog section to share your thoughts, tutorials, or even your experiences. And when you're building your portfolio, make sure to keep it simple. You need to focus on the clean design and make it very easy for anyone to navigate on your website or your portfolio. And as I said earlier, make sure to only show your best work. You don't have to show every single project. Make sure to focus on quality over quantity, and update this portfolio regularly. So any new project you have, make sure to add it into your portfolio, have a good description about the project, and make it easy for somebody to contact you. Finally, when you're done building your portfolio, upload it for free on places like GitHub Pages, Netlify, or Vercel. You must not even buy a domain name for your portfolio. You can use a default domain name that these platforms provide, and just make sure the portfolio itself is well built. The second project you should build is a full stack application. This is a very crucial application for you to build. Building a full stack application will not only teach you how to integrate both front-end and back-end technologies, but it is also a way to affirm your versatility as a developer. This project is a comprehensive way to demonstrate your ability to manage end-to-end development. As you may know, in today's world where anybody can prompt AI to build an app for them, understanding the full stack track of building an app from start to finish is extremely invaluable. So you absolutely need one, if not a few, full stack applications in your portfolio. And if you're wondering what skills you learn while building an application, because one thing you should understand is that building an application is not only a way for you to showcase your skills, but it's also a way to learn, because the best way to learn is by building. So project-based learning, that is actually the best way to learn if you want to become a successful developer. So the things you learn when building a full stack app include front-end development, and you make sure to use frameworks like React, Angular, or Vue.js. I highly recommend React for starters. Back-end development, learning how to build APIs with Node.js, Express, Django, or Ruby on Rails, for example. Database management, working with databases like MongoDB, PostgreSQL, or MySQL. And then you also have authentication and authorization that you're going to learn, which will help you implement key features like login and security features. And finally, deployment. You cannot have a full stack application if you don't deploy your application. And this involves deploying your front end and also your back end. And you can host your back end on sites like Heroku, AWS, DigitalOcean. You can also even use backend as services if you don't want to build your own custom backends. So building a full stack application is extremely invaluable and extremely good for your portfolio. And if you're wondering what project you should build, because a lot of people have problems coming up with project ideas, I would say that build a project that stems from a problem that you are facing. No matter whether a solution to the problem already exists, still go out there and build a version of it that you made by yourself and still host it. I won't say you should go and build a very rudimentary application like a to-do list app or weather app. I would say build something that actually solves a problem, like a problem that you solve, like a problem that you see, like a problem that you face. And let us just go through a few steps to build a full stack application. First, you have to plan your project. You need to define the features and the functionality you want. Next, you need to set up the front end. Choose a front end framework and design your UI. You can use something like Figma in order to design a basic UI. And for the front end framework or library, I highly recommend React.js. And then you need to develop your backend. You need to create APIs to handle data operations like the CRUD operations, create, update, delete, and so on. Then after you've developed all these sections, you need to now connect your front end and your back end. Use HTTP requests to communicate between the two. You have to use a tool like Postman in order to test your backend APIs before connecting to your front end. And then when you're done with this step, implement a database where you can basically store and retrieve data efficiently. And then test your application to ensure that everything works smoothly. And then finally, deploy your application. Make sure your application is usable and accessible online. And always make sure to choose the right technology. And I will not say any technology, especially for a beginner project, any technology you use or you get started with is fine. And if you don't know what technology to start with, I'll say go with the MERN stack. That includes MongoDB, Express, React, and Node.js. Yeah. And you will have your full stack application built in less time than you can imagine. And the final application you should have in your personal portfolio is a dashboard application. Dashboard applications are very powerful tools for visualizing data and managing information. Building one will enhance your skills in data handling, visualization, and creating user-friendly interfaces. Employers also just love seeing a nicely built interactive dashboard application in your portfolio, because this doesn't only show that you know how to build apps, it also shows that you know how to understand and analyze business needs, what data needs to be visualized and what doesn't need to be displayed, and just a way for you to better represent a business needs right on their dashboard. A dashboard application can make you learn a lot of skills. Obviously, this is a full stack application, and you can also learn data visualization and use libraries like Chart.js, D3, or Recharts, and also state management. Because one thing about dashboard applications is that you basically be able to access data across your whole dashboard application. For example, if you're building an application that helps you manage students, you want to maybe have a section where you can be able to visualize students and courses separately, and also visualize students and courses in the same page. So understanding state management across your entire application will be very helpful. So the skills you learn when building a dashboard application includes data visualization, state management for managing complex state using things like Redux or Context API, also API integration for fetching and displaying data from external resources, and ultimately UI UX design for creating intuitive and visual appealing interfaces. And for the project ideas, you can have things like analytics dashboard, admin panels, and also basic finance trackers to visualize income and expenses, and also savings with interactive charts. So those are some typical examples of apps you can build if you're trying to build a dashboard application. So the steps to build a dashboard application are similar to the ones to build a full stack application, because a dashboard application is basically a full stack app. And those are basically the three applications every beginner developer should build. So basically a personal portfolio, a full stack application, and a dashboard application. You'll cover a wide range of skills and technologies that are essential for any developer by building this project. So if you have not started building yet, go ahead and turn off this video and start building now. Let me know in the comment section which which applications you've gotten to build so far, and when you're going to start building any of these apps if you have not yet built it yet. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to this video, and see you in the next one.